do shows, and he would be like, yo, because I'm not regular, and I'd be like, what you mean? Nigga, I'm a rock star. And I'm like, nigga, you look like everybody else. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, nigga, I'm a rock star. Like, that's what he was convicted. He had conviction of him being a rock star. You know what I'm saying?
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
So all right, so let me ask you this. When you saw Uzi for the phone, Kenny brought Uzi in, what was your real thoughts? Like, don't give me the answer of now that he's a star. What was your actual thoughts?
Nah, honestly, I enjoyed the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was hard. Like, he was a talented artist. You know what I'm saying? He was different. And it was so funny because, like I tell everybody, one thing, like I said, conviction. Like, Uzi always said, y'all, because, you know, with us being from Atlanta, we always felt like doing shows was getting booked for clubs. That's all we knew. We didn't know of anything about doing hard tickets and venues. We had to learn that as we were going. Yeah. And Uzi was like, man, I don't want to do clubs. And we're like, how you gonna get money? Right. You see what I'm saying? He's like, I'm gonna do shows. I'm like, but that is a show. And he was like, nah, I'm gonna do shows. And he would be like, yo, because I'm not regular. And I'd be like, what you mean? Nigga, I'm a rock star. And I'm like, nigga, you look like everybody else. And he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, nigga, I'm a rock star. Like, that's what he was convicted. He had conviction of him being a rock star. You know what I'm saying? And this is before he started dyeing his hair, before he was still wearing baggy jeans. He was still, he still looked like us. This is before the persona really took over. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I love, so he had the vision and he built the persona around it. Like, he knew this is what he wanted to do. He knew this is what he wanted to do, and he knew what path he wanted to go. He knew he wanted to sell tickets. He said, he would always say, I want to be like A$AP Rocky and Wiz Khalifa. I want to sell tickets. I want to do shows. But I'm a rock star, though. You know what I'm saying? That's insane. So he came in with the vision. He came from the beginning. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so boom. So Uzi's going, Playboy Cardi's going. Like, now you're standing next to two of the hottest artists in the game. What did your life change to at that point? Because that's something that people take for granted. They don't really ever think, like, how does that affect my life? How did that affect your life at that moment? I mean, I lived on the road for those years. So it's funny because the 2016, I probably went on 4 tours in one year. You know what I'm saying? So I went out with Uzi and Cardi. Then I went out with Uzi. Then I went out with Drama. And then at the end of the year, I went out with Cardi and what's his name? A$AP Ferg. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so you wasn't seeing home. Nah, I wasn't home. That's crazy. I lived on the road. That's crazy. How did your family feel about that? I mean, you know, at the time I wasn't married, but you know, my girlfriend, she was supportive because it was the dream. You know what I'm saying? She didn't know what was going on, but I wasn't coming home. I was coming home with money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Niggas wasn't broke. Right. And the bills was getting taken care of, but at the same time, I knew something was special was going on, and she could see my conviction and my focus on what I was doing. So she didn't necessarily have nothing to argue with. You know what I'm saying? At the time, she what's crazy is in 2016, she was pregnant no, my bad. It was 2015. She was pregnant in 2016. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And my son was born in September 2016. So that whole year, matter of fact, that whole year I was gone, she was pregnant. Wow. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. But that's the case you got to have. I mean, because you pray for those times. You pray to be able to be on the road doing sellout shows. And then when they come, you got to embrace it. Yeah. You got to embrace it. So did you feel like you was living the dream? You feel like, oh, shit, like we did it. Definitely. I definitely was living the dream because you got to understand, like, I went from moving with Drama. Yeah. And then Drama started doing, he built this relationship with Wiz. So we doing those tours. And then the next year, I'm out with Uzi. And Uzi is going crazy. Right. And then from there, I moved directly from Uzi to Playboy Cardi, and everybody looking at me like, yo, why'd you leave Uzi? And I'm like, because Uzi asked me to go work with his homie. You know what I'm saying? He wanted me to work with Cardi. Yeah. And at the same time, I said, well, Cardi ain't had no team, but he needed help. Right. It was an opportunity for me, you know what I'm saying, to have something that was mine. Right. Outside of, you know what I'm saying, breaking it down with everybody else. And, it was, you know, and the team was very, very supportive on me
having your own. Right. Because you had earned it. You put in that time. You put in that work. So then when your own artists blow up, Playboy Cardi blow up, did you feel even like, how did you feel then? I know the swagger was a little different then.
Honestly, bro, I was just so focused. Like, I didn't even know. Like, when you living in something, you don't even realize what you got going. You just know you living in it.
I know that. Yeah, I feel you. I don't want to jump ahead too much, but I'm in my mind, this is something I tell artists. A lot of artists, they put out a song and the song start working and then they're scared to put out the next song because they know we got to work this song. And I always tell them, I was like, you think you got a big song until you put out the next one. Out a big one, and they go even bigger. And so I'm saying this to say, with Uzi, with Playboy Cardi, you was like, man, we got amazing artists. And then the next one came. Jack Harlow came. And it's like, yo, I got a pop star. You know what I mean? So like now moving to like a Jack Harlow, like how does it feel moving in that era? Because you in the middle of the Jack Harlow era right now.
Shouts out to Jack. Shouts out to Cardi. Shouts out to Uzi. Each artist was different. Each artist had their own path, and each artist was convicted in what they were going to do and who they were going to become. But one thing I could say about all three of them guys was all three of them guys worked their way to where they are. Like, Uzi toured. A lot of people didn't know he was touring when he was touring. Cardi was touring. Like, Cardi did something most artists can't do. Cardi sold out Phillips Arena, State Farm Arena. Niggas don't even know that. He did that this 2021. He sold out Phillips Arena. You
that's crazy.
Niggas don't know he did that. You see what I'm saying? Jack about to do Phillips Arena in October. You see what I'm saying? But prior to that, them niggas really was working. If you follow Jack's career, like, he always shows you, yo, when I performed at Rolling Loud the first time, it was 5 people in front of me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like this past tour, he went to Alabama, he showed you a picture when it was like 7 people in front of him. Right. You see what I'm saying? Early in his career to now where it's sold out. It's sold out. Saying? So everybody worked and grind, and it took time, and it took years.
So let me ask you this, right? Knowing that, you know, you were there from the beginning of all those artist careers, and knowing how hard they worked, what would you say to the artists of today who really, you know, I'm not talking down on the artists of today because I love their energy, but a lot of them really don't, like, they don't want to put it in the work. Like, they want to go viral. That's the word of the year. They want to go viral. Like, Jack was outside. You just named 3 shows that he did, 5 people, 7 people. He was outside. Like, what would you say to the people who only want to live on the internet?
I mean, what I say to any artist that only wants to live on the internet, if you want a real career, if you want to be in a position to where you can actually live longer than your songs, just like that one single, you gotta work. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than that, because people, you got to think, Cardi ain't drop a project for like 3-4 years before he dropped his last. And when he dropped his last project, he was able to sell out State Farm Arena. Right. But he built, because it's about really building a fan base, building an audience that's your audience, that belongs to you, not what anybody else got going on. Like, you got to look at Uzi and Cardi. They ain't been on the radio in the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? And without them being on the radio, they still doing shows, they still touring, they still overseas, and they still getting money, and they still building their career.
Right. And that comes from what, though? That comes from just being out there in the field?
That comes from to me, it comes from touring. Touring to me is probably the most important factor in the game. And so let me ask you this, because I want to get back to you real quick. Like, what, now you're at Epic, right? First of all, how did that come about? So, shouts out to Ezekiel Elliott and shout out to Sylvia Rome. They seen something in me. You know what I'm saying? Zeke, we actually went out one evening, we had a conversation, and then we started building our relationship, and we stayed in contact, and we stayed in touch, and we were talking, you know, and it wasn't even about business, it was just us conversation, building a relationship with each other. And then the opportunity came up, and somebody told him, he was like, yo, Pat might want to go in the building. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, I didn't know you wanted to go in the building.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my man Ray Daniels. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I didn't know you would go in the building. I was like, yeah, that's one of my bucket list things. Like you know, as a kid growing up, wanted to be in the music business. Right. Being an A&R at a major label was a goal. It was always one of my goals. Yeah. So when I got the opportunity, I took it.
Right.